I had a reel that I posted go viral,
Mm.
and I think it got like almost 4 million views.
Oh my
And I
gosh.
could not even comprehend that. And then from
Right.
there, it just kind of picked up, and I was like, okay, I'm going to take this more serious. I'm going to try
Mm.
to post every day, and I'm going to try to share more and more and more. And people started reaching out to me. Of course, there was people liking my videos and commenting on my videos, but
Right.
people were messaging me and they wanted to know more about it, and they had questions, and they were so encouraging. And they were telling me that I had inspired them, and in turn that inspired me, and it made me want to
Right.
share more and more and more. And I wanted people to feel like they were a part of this renovation versus
Mm.
they were just like watching it from the outside looking in.
You are now listening to the Your First Steps podcast. It's great to talk about $1 million dreams, but where do we start? How do we get there? Listen up as you hear directly from real estate industry leaders on how they reached success in their fields. And most importantly, what were their first steps? Let's get this party started. Here's your host, Eli the Real Estate Guy.
Hey, how's it going, guys? Thank y'all so much for tuning in to another episode of the Your First Steps podcast. We have a very, very special guest today. I'm super excited to interview this person. And this individual, she is actually the owner and the creator of the Pink Dreams Cottage. My wife, she brought this to me. And once I saw this, I was like, hey, I got to find this person. So Katie, thank you so much for coming on.
Yes, of course. Thank you for inviting me.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So like I said, my wife, she's the one who brought it to my attention. She's always on, TikTok and Instagram and just showing me like there's different cool things that's going on. And once I saw the idea of, this pink cottage, and of course you'll get more into it. I thought it was an amazing idea. So I'm like, what? I have to find this person to really get down and understand, why this started, what made it start, what was the inspiration behind it. But before we get into that, go ahead and introduce yourself to everybody that's listening.
Yes, my name is Katie. I'm the owner of Pink Dreams Cottage here in Portsmouth, Ohio. This is where I was born and raised. Yeah.
Gotcha. Awesome. So now going more into before we get to the Pink Dreams Cottage, before we get into what that is, go ahead and start off by letting me know, or letting the people know about your childhood, what it was like growing up for you, with your dad, because I know you and your dad are the ones that's actually doing the renovations to the property. So
Yes.
what was it like growing up in the HANES household?
Yeah. So, like I said, I'm from Ohio. I was born and raised here. Super small town. It's the town where everybody knows everybody, and there's not really much to do here other than things that you create. So, yeah, I'm the oldest of three girls. And yeah, I think it's funny that my dad ended up with three girls.
Right.
Yeah, so growing up, he would take us camping, fishing, done all that kind of stuff. And I grew up and moved away to college. And that kind of sparked my interest in travel from there. And I've traveled all over the world, but somehow I still always end up back here in Portsmouth, Ohio. So here I am.
There you go. Awesome. So now with you going out to college, right? What did you major in when you went to college?
Psychology and business.
Okay. So was there anything in particular that directed you to that, or was it I got to do something out here?
I was always interested in psychology and the business aspect of it as well. But, all through college, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I enjoyed learning. I enjoyed college, but I remember, it got down to like a couple months before graduation, and I was like, oh no, like reality kind of
Right.
slapped me in the face. And I was like,
Right.
what am I going to do? So at
Mhm.
that point, I moved away to Florida to kind of just take a little break, enjoy life, see what opportunities came my way.
Mhm.
And I found out that the 9 to 5 life wasn't for me.
Mhm.
So I just started looking for opportunities, and they kind of just found me.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Good deal. All right. And so what type of opportunities found you?
Yeah. So this Pink Dreams Cottage is the perfect example of that. While I was
Mhm.
in Florida, I went to a cafe. It was called Rose Cafe near Miami, Florida. And the
Mhm.
theme of it was pink, pink everything. There was a pink telephone
Mm,
booth covered in roses. There was pink coffees and pink desserts, and just everything was pink. It was so over the top.
mhm,
And that's kind of where I got the idea to do this pink Airbnb. And like I mentioned before, I really love to travel, and I've stayed in Airbnbs all over the world. I just think
mhm.
they're so unique. There's so much character and charm. And, I always kind of had the idea in the back of my mind that I would love to do something like that of my own one day. And then, when I went to that pink cafe, I think a light bulb just kind of went off in my head and thought, hey, like
Mhm,
I can combine these two ideas into
mhm.
something really unique and really cool. So,
Gotcha,
yeah.
gotcha. I love it. Now, you said something that's very interesting, and whenever someone has an idea, for example, the concept of there's nothing new under the sun. It's just mainly remixes of what's out there that makes something unique, right?
Yeah.
So, what are some things that besides the Rose Cafe that you saw? What are some things that you saw throughout your other travels that you're like, you know what, I'm gonna take, whether it's like a door handle or this light fixture, like what are some other things that you saw that was like, oh, okay, this is something I'm really going to add and it's going to create this beautiful masterpiece.
Yeah. So I think when I'm looking for Airbnbs to stay at myself, I always look for some kind of like standout feature about them. I mean, I've stayed in tiki huts, I've stayed in yurts, I've stayed in, just more regular style houses, but there's always some kind of feature about them that really stands out to me.
Mm.
And oh my goodness, I could talk about that forever, just all the
Nice.
amazing places that I've stayed. But I just think just something unique, and I like when it's more of an experience versus
Mhm.
somewhere to just sleep at night, because I think
Gotcha.
it's really cool that 5 or 10 years down the road that I can still look back and remember so many little details about every single place that I've stayed. And
Gotcha.
I think that I'm incorporating that into my own, because every single little detail is so thought through, and I think that there's a purpose behind every single decision that I've made.
Gotcha. Gotcha. I love it. All right. And so now going into pink, I know you saw the pink cafe, but is pink your favorite color?
Yes, it
It
is.
is. Okay. Okay. Gotcha. Gotcha. All right. So now that you saw that and you're like, you know what, it's something that I would love to do one day. How did you find that property? And you're like, oh, this is the building that I'm actually gonna make this dream come true.
Yeah, so that's kind of a crazy story within itself. Like I said, I was in Florida. I was inspired by the Rose Cafe, but I was overwhelmed with the thought of how am I going to actually bring this to life? So I kind of just put the idea in the back of my mind for a little bit, and I just kind of told myself that if it's meant to be, it will happen.
Right.
The opportunity will come to me. So fast forward probably 3 or 4 months, I was back in my hometown in Ohio, and I was
Mhm.
actually just passing time, and I was scrolling through Zillow, just looking with no intentions of actually finding something for myself. And I saw this house listed on Zillow. It was actually the first one that popped up, and it was listed for $5,000.
Oh my
So
gosh.
I
Oh my
I
gosh.
think, I immediately think this is some kind of typo. This can't be real. Like they forgot a zero or something.
Right.
Like someone's
Right.
messed this up somehow.
Right. Mhm.
So I called my dad up, and I told him about it, and I was like, that can't be real, can it? What do you think? And he was like, well, I don't know. You call him and ask him about it.
Mhm.
So I, I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to ask. I had never done that before, but
Right.
I did. I called them, and that very day we ended up setting an appointment up to walk through it. My dad met me at the property. We went through the house, and oh my goodness, just walking on the porch, like I was afraid I was going to fall through it.
Oh my
Like
gosh.
I saw the beauty in the house,
Right.
but it was just like crumbling to pieces. And
Right. Right.
my parents have owned rental property my entire life, and I own other properties too. So it's not a foreign concept to me, but the
Mhm.
idea of completely gutting a house and just, kind of starting over and working from scratch, that I had no idea what that meant. And
Right.
as we were walking through, my dad just kept saying, like, I can see the potential, but everything needs to be redone. And
Mm,
I just kept thinking, like, what does that mean? I don't know. Like, it couldn't be that bad,
right.
because I think I just focused in on all the things that I liked about it.
Mhm.
Just the charm and the character, like I said. So
Gotcha.
as we were walking through, he kind of tried to talk me out of it, I think. And we went to go get ice cream afterwards. And I
Mhm.
just thought, okay, like maybe this isn't the one. I don't know. Like he's not on board and
Right.
I need his help. I can't do this on my own.
Mhm.
So we were eating ice cream and he looked at me and he said, so what are you going to bid? Because the $5,000 list price was just like the
Mhm.
opening bid and it was an
Gotcha.
auction. So
Right.
he said, what are you going to bid? And I said, is this you encouraging me? And he said, take
Mm,
it as you will.
there you
So
go.
I ended up bidding $10,111 for the house.
Nice,
You
nice.
never bid an even number in an auction.
Right.
So I came up
Mhm.
with that. And a couple days later, they let me know that I had the highest bid and it was mine. So
Oh my gosh. Okay.
yeah,
So what was that moment like for you? You
yeah.
found out that you wouldn't have bid. What was that moment like for you?
It didn't feel real. I was like, oh my goodness, like what have I just got myself into? But on top of that, what have I just dragged my dad into? you
Right,
know,
right.
I don't
Gotcha.
know if he really thought that like we were going to end up with this property. So
Gotcha.
yeah,
Gotcha.
I think it just didn't feel real. I was
Hmm.
excited, of
Hmm.
course, and kind of nervous,
Right.
but yeah, just mainly excited.
Gotcha.
It
So
was just
you're
kind of
saying,
like the picture all came together.
gotcha, gotcha. And so you're saying how pretty much everything need to be done. So for the folks, and
Yes.
I'll have opportunity at the end for people to get your Instagram so they can go and look at the progress of the property. So would you say that it's something that probably should have been torn down, but you guys saved it to where it could finally stand? Like, would you say that?
Absolutely 100% yes.
Gotcha.
And
Okay.
it's so funny
Gotcha.
because even after months and months of work, my dad would still say, like, this needs torn down.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm just like, no, no, no. Like, I'm already too invested now.
There you go. There you go. Gotcha. So now, what are some challenges that you face when coming into this property? Because of course, it need a lot of work. But was there anything that once this roadblock came, you guys were like, "Whoa, okay, we didn't see this coming."
I didn't see anything coming. I mean, I didn't know what I was getting myself into. Like I kind of went into this blindly. And
Mhm.
I don't think anything surprises my dad at this point. I mean,
Mhm.
he's been doing this for as long as I can remember, my entire life. He's, built houses, renovated houses, built Dollar Generals. I mean, he's kind of
Mm.
seen it all. So
Gotcha.
I don't think
Gotcha.
anything surprised him, but I think the experience of gutting the entire house really
Mhm.
surprised me. It was
Gotcha.
just, I think just, yeah, I mean, just the thought of every single thing needs redone just felt like a roadblock that I could never get through.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
So what's the time frame on the renovations? How long do you think it's going to take?
I think this is my most asked question. Everyone wants to know, and I want
Mhm.
to know too.
Right.
And
Gotcha.
to be
Gotcha.
to be honest with you, I don't have like a expected date of opening right now, just
Gotcha.
because this is more of a hobby. I wish it wasn't. Like I wish we could do this full time, but my dad works full time as a
Gotcha.
chemical operator. And, obviously that has to be his first priority. And then he has other priorities too and stuff. So
Right.
I think I don't know. I don't know the time frame. It just a lot of it depends on how much time he has to dedicate to help
Right.
me because it's just something that I can't do on my own.
Got it. Got it. And so something that I realized, so I'm also a property adjuster and I did some work out in Michigan. And something that I didn't realize until I was up there during, as we're getting closer to the winter months, is that construction doesn't happen during that time of the year. Because I'm from Florida, I live in Texas. It's like, construction year round. And so is that a big part of what cause you guys to have like a small window too, to where it's like, hey, we have up until September, and then after that we have to stop? Or like, what are some things that, like, is weather a concern for you or something like that when it comes to renovations?
Well, you would think it would be But for
Mm.
some reason, my dad decided the perfect time to start working on the exterior was December.
Oh
So
my gosh.
we were working on it a lot during the winter, and it didn't make
Gotcha.
sense to me, but I'm like, you know what? I'm not complaining. I'm thankful for your time. I'm thankful for your help. Like, if you're
Right.
going to show up, I'll bundle up and I'll be here, and we'll work on it in the cold.
There
So,
you go. There you
but
go.
yeah, like you asked me earlier, like some of the obstacles, and then kind of bringing it back in with the weather and stuff. Another thing is, like, there is no electric, water. I mean, there's nothing. So yeah, I
Mhm.
mean, it's not like there's heat inside. It's cold inside and it's dark
Gotcha.
inside. And
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, there's just obstacle after obstacle. But yeah, I
Gotcha.
guess we didn't let the weather slow us down.
Gotcha. So,
But
so now I was actually watching the some of the videos earlier today, and you brought something up about pink siding, right? And
yes.
how you're wanting to do pink vinyl siding. And is it vinyl or is it a wood that you wanted to do? Is it vinyl siding?
Vinyl siding, I think, is going to be the best option. I would like to do something, higher end than that, but just with the
Hmm.
budget and then also how the house is prepped, I think vinyl
Hmm.
siding is going to be the best option.
Gotcha. And I know, and the reason why I'm bringing this up is because maybe by the time this airs, somebody knows somebody who can maybe give you like a connect with some type of manufacturer or somebody that can actually make this custom siding. So, what's important to you when it comes to the type of siding that you're getting and the type of color that you're looking for? So, what's important for you with that siding?
Well, I started out with the vision of, okay, I'm going to do white siding with pink accents. And then the more I thought about it, I was just like, I built this up to be the pink house. Like, it
Hmm.
needs to be the pink house. I want it to be
Right.
over the top and one of a kind.
Hmm.
So I started looking around for pink siding, and I did find some options with like the James Hardy planks,
Mm.
that
Okay.
kind of siding,
Right.
but it is like triple the price of vinyl siding. And then also, I'm not really super educated about this, but my dad just told me that with that kind of siding, it requires a lot more prep than more traditional vinyl siding.
Gotcha.
So I'm like, well, you know what? Then it's going to be my mission to find pink vinyl siding. And I
Hmm.
have spent hours and hours and hours on the phone researching online. I've called Lowe's, Home Depot, Menards. And, I even kind of thought outside of the box, and I was like, I'm going to call Lowe's and, different places like that in like beach towns, coastal towns, because sometimes you see,
Mm.
pink and blue and yellow houses there.
Right,
But what I
right.
found is that it's not vinyl siding. And if it is, it's more than likely have been painted. So
Gotcha. Okay,
yeah,
okay. So, okay, this brings up many questions. All right.
yeah.
So, one, uh, with the painted vinyl, I haven't heard of folks painting vinyl as like as something that you should do. So, is that something that
Yes.
you? Okay, gotcha. Yeah, because I figured it would make it harder than what it has to be, in the elasticity and the flexibility of it will be
Yes,
compromised.
exactly.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
And
So I
so,
think that's off the table and not the best idea. So I've kind of moved
gotcha.
on past that. I did some
Mhm.
research, and yeah, I don't think it was the best idea.
So, have you contacted the manufacturers themselves and thought about like, hey, is it possible to do a custom order or something like that?
I haven't necessarily talked to anyone about a custom order, but yes, I mean, I've talked to so many different people, and I've had different people checking with different manufacturers for me. And
Mhm.
I did find like kind of like a more like a pinkish tan color. I don't know. I think it was called Peach Sunset was actually the name of it, but it was
Gotcha.
just, it wasn't the right shade. And I just kind of felt like, I don't want to go with the wrong shade of pink because I feel like that's worse than white. So
Gotcha.
I made the
Mhm.
decision in the past couple of days to go with white siding and then put pink shake in the peak of the house and do pink shutters, a
Ah,
pink
okay.
door. So I think I've made the final points be in the right direction. Then of course, like, I'd be ecstatic, but
Right.
I just like, I feel like it's time to get it moving along. I've spent too much time looking around, sign that, maybe the white is meant to be. And I do think that will make it look really nice. I think it will give it that cottage feel.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, so yeah, I think I'm gonna go with that and just the pink accents. And I still want it to be over the top and unique. And I think
Right.
that we'll be able to pull it together.
Gotcha. Yeah, absolutely. And so now, are you going to? And I saw you already did the cement. So you wouldn't want to even go as far as like the pink like walkways or stairs or something like that. Would you do something like that?
Actually mentioned that to me. And when I was having that's over and done with, but I do have the front stairs that I'm like, I've
Mhm.
got to do something with these. I want them to be, I want them to stand out and I want them to pop. And I thought that it might be cool to do like pink tile on the front stairs. So
Mm. Okay.
yeah,
Gotcha. Gotcha. All right, cool.
yeah.
So, and I like the idea of it. Now, is this something that you're going to do just one, or is this the first of like a chain of pink cottage houses, all throughout the world?
Many, many times. I started out with just this one and like it was my main focus. But as we've moved along with the renovation, of course I want it to be done. I'm so excited. I'm like counting down the days. I'm like everyone else. When's it going to be done? When's it going to be
Mhm,
open?
mhm.
But to think about like opening it up, it kind of makes me sad because then it's going to be over. The
Right,
renovation's going to be over. So I feel like my mind's already wandering to like, okay, what next? And
right,
like I've
right.
mentioned many times, I love to travel and I think it would be so cool to have these,
Mhm,
scattered throughout the world. And um I don't know if I would want to stick with the theme of like the Pink Dreams Cottage, one here and one there, or if I would
mhm.
want to take it a step farther and do different themes. So I thought
Gotcha,
about like
gotcha.
an all black Airbnb and just,
Mhm.
different themes that you don't see.
Right,
Something
right.
unique and different.
Gotcha, gotcha. And I like the idea of just having like those colors as the theme itself
Yeah.
because it's a lot more simple and it's just a matter of just typing in like if you're looking up products to buy, you can buy like books for the bookshelf or paint the bookshelves or get couches that's like a certain color. And it's
Yeah.
I like that idea. And I mean
Yeah.
once you have them open, we want to go and visit them. We want to make sure
Yeah.
that we're checking
That
those
would be
out.
awesome.
There you go. So, what are some things that you've learned in the process of this project that you're like, oh, I had no idea this was even a thing that I had to worry about?
Well, I've learned to be patient.
Hmm.
That's
Hmm.
first and foremost.
Right.
I just like I don't think I even grasped how long every single little part of the project would take. I mean, it's just we poured so much energy and effort and time and love into this house and I mean, by the time that we're done with it, every single inch of this house is going to be redone in some way or
Mhm.
another. And I think that's the biggest thing that I've learned is just the patience with it. And I mean, I've learned a million other things too. I just I mean, my dad's taught me how to use power tools that I didn't know how to use, and just so many things. I mean,
Right.
he just he's a good teacher. When
Gotcha.
he's working, like he's on a mission. He wants
Right.
to get things done, but he doesn't care to take a step back and slow down to show me how to do things and teach me how to do things. And yeah.
Hmm. Gotcha. And so, if you guys were to start over, I know it's still you're still getting things together, but if you were to start over from scratch, what would you have done differently, if anything?
Yeah. I I really I don't think I would have done anything differently. I mean, there's things that I dislike and that I like about it, but I feel like the way that it's unfolding, it was meant to be. I
Mm,
think that
mhm,
I've learned so much in the process. I think that when it's finished, it's going to be everything that I ever wanted and more. And then
mhm.
also during the time of the renovation, I've got to spend so much time with my dad that I wouldn't have got to spend otherwise. So
Absolutely.
I can't say that I would change anything about this project. Now, for the future, I think if
Mhm.
I was going to read like do something else along these lines, I would possibly look for a house that didn't have to be completely gutted
Gotcha.
so that
Okay.
the time frame could be shorter and there could be you know just more cosmetic updates, I think, than actually completely changing everything. But
Gotcha.
speaking about this project, I can't say that I would change anything.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Now, of course, like I said at the beginning, my wife, she's the one who brought your page up to me. So, what made you start documenting the process, and when did you start noticing like, oh, people are actually starting to notice these updates? So, what was that process like for you?
Yeah. So When I first bought the house, I had the idea to document the renovation process. And, I've always enjoyed photography and I've always enjoyed social media. So I thought this would just be a cool way to tie all of those interests together.
Mhm.
So I had a goal when, like, I remember the first picture that I ever posted, just like introducing the idea. And I had a goal of having 10,000 followers by the time that the renovation was complete. And
Mm,
that just felt so big to me. I was like, I
yeah.
don't know how I'm ever
Right.
going to make that happen.
Mhm.
That's my goal. I'm just going to post. I'm going to be authentic. I'm going to share like the real process. And, I thought that people would be interested in it,
Right.
but 10,000 people felt like so many to me. Like I said, I'm from a
Absolutely.
small town and, you know, I think it was people from my town first that,
Gotcha.
started following along, and it, it was just kind of like they heard through the grapevine and they started following along. They were interested, or they would drive by and see us out. So it kind of started like that.
Mhm.
And I remember getting to like 1,000 followers and I screenshot it. Like I was like, this is
Nice.
so cool. Like people
There
are
you
actually
go.
interested.
Right.
And I just kept posting and posting and posting. And I feel like it kind of happened overnight. I mean, I had a reel that I posted go viral,
Mm.
and I think it got like almost 4 million views.
Oh my
And I
gosh.
could not even comprehend that. And then from
Right.
there, it just kind of picked up, and I was like, okay, I'm going to take this more serious. I'm going to try
Mm.
to post every day, and I'm going to try to share more and more and more. And people started reaching out to me. Of course, there was people liking my videos and commenting on my videos, but
Right.
people were messaging me and they wanted to know more about it and they had questions and they were so encouraging. And they were telling me that I had inspired them, and in turn that inspired me and it made me want to
Right.
share more and more and more. And I wanted people to feel like they were a part of this renovation versus
Mhm.
they were just like watching it from the outside looking in. So I
Mm.
just kept sharing and sharing and sharing, and it's just kind of taken off from there.
Gotcha. Gotcha. I love it. So what are some things that you're doing to make them feel like they're a part of it? So is it just the sharing, or is there a particular way to where you're like, you know what, my approach is going to be this way to make sure that they feel like they're a part of the process instead of just an audience?
Yeah. So I do think that I have like a specific approach about it. I mean, anytime anyone sends me a message, like I'm gonna reply to every single message. If
Nice.
someone's gonna take time out of their day to message me and encourage me and ask questions and so show interest, like I'm gonna give them time out of my day in return. So I think that's really big because
Mhm.
I think people look at this account like, oh my goodness, there's 250,000 people following this account. Her videos are
Right.
getting millions of views. She's not going to have time to reply. This is never going to be seen. It's just going to get
Right.
lost in the other messages. And
Mhm.
I think some people are surprised when I reply to them, which surprises me. I'm like, I can't
Right.
believe that you would think that I wouldn't.
Right.
Um,
Right.
but yeah, I think I've had a lot of conversations and connected with a lot of people on a deeper level. And, I've got to know about projects that they're doing, and they send me pictures of their
Mm.
renovations, and
I
they'll message
love
me and
it.
say, I'm renovating a house with my dad. And so that's
Nice.
really cool, just getting to connect with people on a deeper level. But also like on my videos, I try to ask people for their opinions about, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? That's something really big. And then another really neat idea that I came up with is, well, so many artists were reaching out to me and just saying
Mm.
like, I love your idea of the pink Airbnb, and as you get closer to the renovation being complete, I would love to send you a piece of my original artwork to feature in your Airbnb. And I just thought that
Mm.
was so amazing. Like, how cool.
I love
So
that. I love it.
so many people were messaging me this, and I was like, I don't want to tell anyone no. How can
Right.
I put how am I going to pick and choose? So I just kind of thought about the idea of, how can I include everyone? I don't want to turn anyone away.
Mhm.
So I came up with the idea of featuring different artists from all over the world in our pink Airbnb. And I
Nice.
thought it would be really cool. Like there's no rules about the art that they create other than it has to match the color scheme of pink. Like
Right,
don't
right.
send me a blue and yellow painting. Like it
Right.
needs to go with the theme.
Right.
But at the end of the day, like that's the only rule. Make whatever you want to make. And I think it will be so cool to put all of that art like on a wall together and
I
see
love
how
it.
just with one rule, everyone had such different perspectives about what they created. So
Gotcha.
I haven't figured out all the details about how I'm gonna, do that. I think I might have to
Gotcha.
switch artwork in and out, but just things like that. Like I just want everyone who wants to be a part of it in some way.
Oh my gosh. I love
Yeah.
that so much. And I feel like, so this is what I see that's going to be so powerful about this project is that, like you're saying, you're including everyone that's in it. And it's not just a place that people can go. People feel like they have there's vested interests in
Yeah.
this project. They're a
Yeah.
part of it. They saw it from when it was gutted down, and
Yeah.
by the time they get to it, for them to book a night in the Airbnb, it's going to be like, man, I'm getting to finally see this in person. So
Yeah.
I'm excited. I'm excited
Yeah.
now. I'm excited to see this in person.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So now with and I know you're saying that you're waiting on doing this and you're considering doing this with other individuals. Now, is this something that you will have like tours or like a grand opening, or what's your plan on like once it's finally done to really go big? Because I'm sure everybody in your town is going to be like, everybody's going to want to be there. So
Yeah.
what's your plan for that?
Yeah. So many people have messaged me, of course, asking like, when is this going to be open? And
Mhm.
then their next question is there a wait list to book it? So I
Mm,
think as we get closer to the renovation being complete and kind of figure out the exact date, I'm going to create some kind of wait list or something like that. So people
gotcha.
who want to be like the first to know can be the first to know. But I
Gotcha.
definitely would love to do some kind of like grand opening. I think that would be so cool. And not only is it going to be a pink Airbnb, it's also going to be like a photo studio, and it's also going to
Oh,
be a small
nice.
event venue. So a lot of local photographers have reached out to me as well, like just saying they're so excited. They're going to do so many shoots here, and they can't wait to see it. So something that I have thought about is I thought that it would be cool to do like a photographer
Mhm.
like open house type of things where local
Mm,
photographers and even non-local photographers can come and kind of just get to know each other and connect with other photographers and look around the space. And
mhm.
so that's definitely an idea that's floating around. But yeah, I would love to have a grand opening where anyone can come, but at the end of the day, like the house can't hold everyone. So
Right, right.
I don't know how I'm gonna come up with an idea to include everybody. I've got to think
Gotcha.
about that some more.
Understood. But hey, I tell you what, as soon as you do, just make sure you post it. And I want to be, well, I may not be the first person in, but I want to be one of the folks that's on that waiting list to actually come
Yeah.
and experience this, because it's cool, and it's not just, like I said, it's not just another Airbnb. There's a story behind it,
Yes.
and I feel like that's what differentiates you from other folks. That even if they have the same exact theme, theirs is
Yeah.
probably just the fact that it's pink, but yours is a community behind it. So I
Yeah.
love it. So now, as far as folks that may want to do something similar, right? Say if it's a pink theme, blue theme, whatever, or just some type of themed Airbnb, and uh, have this type of response from people. What are 3 tips that you would give to them? It could be 3, it could be more or less. What are some tips that you would
Okay.
give to these people to have an idea for, okay, this is what I should consider whenever I'm forming this, so I'm not just another building?
Right.
Hmm.
I think just the uniqueness, it has to be there to grab people's attention. Something that you've never seen before. Something that's really big to me when I try to think of ideas is how can I make this an experience? Like that is so huge to me because I want people who come here to look back and remember this 10 years down the road.
Mhm.
Not just be like, oh, that was a really nice Airbnb that I stayed in. I want it to be like they remember how they felt when they were walking around in the house. They remember who they were there with, and just I just want it to be something that you can't find anywhere else. So I think that's definitely my biggest tip is just get on Airbnb and figure out what's not on there and then make it yourself. And
Mm,
yeah, of course, there's other pink Airbnbs in the world, but is there another pink Airbnb that a father-daughter duo renovated, from an abandoned house? Probably
right,
not. So I think
right.
it's just figuring out what sets you apart from everyone else and just running with that and sharing that and just
Mhm.
being authentic to yourself and, including other people. Something that I think would be really cool to incorporate in the house once it's finished is kind of like a scrapbook of how we
Mm,
started and where we're at now. And so I think that would be really neat for people to be able
I
to
love it.
look through that and not just see like a picture or video on Instagram to, hold it
Right.
in their hands and like see these actual pictures. And so I think that would be cool. And then another idea similar to that is to have like a guest book where people get to sign their names and leave little notes and write where they're from. And yeah, I think it's just figuring out what sets you apart from other people and running with that.
Gotcha. Gotcha. I
So that's
love
my
it.
biggest tip.
Gotcha. I love it. I absolutely love it. So now we'll get into the lightning round to where I ask you three
Okay.
questions and, of course, answer them to the best of your ability. But this is more so, it was really tailored for you as far as what you got going on and, things moving forward. So first question. All right. If you were to have another theme besides pink for an Airbnb, what would it be?
I think black.
Okay,
I
and
think
not
that's
black,
it.
and not black, and no colors besides colors. I should have said that.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Something besides a color.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Like I said, I love to travel. I think
Hmm.
that it would be really cool to have an Airbnb with each room representing a different country.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, gotcha. Okay, all right. And number two. So if you had no budget on an Airbnb and you would do this anywhere,
Ooh.
um, I guess would it also be that country per room thing, or if you were to go beyond that? So you already said the country thing per room. What's another thing that you'll do? But if you're like, hey, money's the object, you could just do it up as much as you want. Let your imagination run wild. What would it be for that?
What would it be
Anything,
and
any,
where would it be?
exactly. Mhm.
Okay. It sounds crazy to even say this, but I honestly think that if I was given that option, I would have still chosen to do it in Portsmouth, Ohio. That
Gotcha.
sounds
Okay.
so crazy because I feel like I've seen the most beautiful parts of the world. And there's something special about Portsmouth, but it's definitely not the most beautiful place in the world.
Gotcha.
But I
Gotcha.
think it's special to be able to pour that into my hometown and just kind of make it even more of a special place. And
Mhm.
yeah, I think that I would still definitely want to do something here. Now, of course, I would love to go beyond that.
Mhm.
I've always had a special connection to Florida. I consider that my second home. I would love to do something there. I
Mhm.
can see myself doing something there one day. So
Gotcha.
yeah,
And
I,
what
I
what theme would it be?
I think it would have to be something different because when I think about Airbnbs and hotels in
Mhm.
Florida, you think about like the beach vibe, you think about like the
Exactly.
blues and the yellows. It would have to be something so over the top and so different, something that you don't see there. Maybe something like darker and moodier or just
Mm.
something that isn't already there.
Gotcha, gotcha. Okay, cool. I got you. So, and the third question. So if you were to have one song playing on repeat 24 hours a day for a month straight, and it's playing in one ear, what song would it be?
Oh my goodness, I don't know. This is a hard one. Um, I don't know. I need to think about this for a second.
Gotcha, gotcha. Okay,
A
take your time.
song.
What's your favorite song right now?
I really don't know how to answer that.
Gotcha,
Some
gotcha.
it would be something upbeat and something
Mhm.
encouraging and something that makes me feel like I have energy.
Okay, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
So, do you have like a favorite artist?
Not really, not off the top of my mind.
What's the last song you listened to?
Oh my goodness. I don't know that either.
Okay. Okay, gotcha. Okay, we'll skip that one. Gotcha. Okay, it's all good. So for the folks that want to follow you and follow the journey that you have going on, where can they follow you and you get all this information that you're providing?
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram. My name is Pink Dreams Cottage. You can find me on there. And then I also just made a TikTok account. That's also Pink Dreams Cottage. I haven't posted on there yet, but I'm going to soon. So you can find me on Instagram and TikTok.
Gotcha. All right. Awesome. Hey, thank you so much for doing this podcast. I'm super excited to see where this goes. And I know everybody that's watching here, they can't wait to get on that waiting list. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Awesome.
Bye.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening to the Your First Steps podcast. Let us know what you thought about this episode by leaving a review. And don't forget to subscribe.